I'm 6 and I'm hiding. I found a nook in my parents' large garden, and it's dark and safe. There are branches all around me, leaves above my head. It's just red, and I can smell that wonderful, rich, dark, loamy soil smell and the water on the leaves. The water drips on my face, the wind rustles. I'm hugging myself because with me I'm carrying a dark secret. A secret that no little girl should be carrying. Bring with me this belief that no one loves me. Me, a third child out of 4 kids, out of a loving family, a loving home, believes this horrible, horrible thing, that no one loves me. And I tell no one. I'm 23. I'm living in a large house with colleagues. I can smell food. I think someone's cooking dinner downstairs. There's music coming through the wall. I think somebody else has just come home from work. I'm sitting on my bed and I'm hugging myself. And I'm crying because I'm sad, just so, so incredibly sad. The sadness closes my throat. It goes down my shoulders, into my stomach, into this pain that is so dark and so deep. Everywhere I look, it's just gray. There's no beauty, no joy, just gray. In my hand, I have a ballpoint pen. And I start drawing these lines on my wrists, up and down and up and down. And I start thinking, what if I had a knife? And I could just cut along those lines, just so I can bring that pain that's inside me out, just out of my body, away from me. I call my therapist, and she talks me out of it. She makes me promise to go see a doctor. The next morning, I wake up, I go to work, and I tell no one. 4 months ago, I'm sitting in a boardroom, just your average, everyday, normal work meeting, talking about average, everyday, normal work stuff. I've recently rejoined the company, so I need to impress. Suddenly, someone is kneeling on my chest, and I can't breathe. All I can focus on is breathing and pretending that I'm listening, even though I can't hear a thing. I focus on my facial expressions and my responses, because no one must know. No one can know. Depression, anxiety, bipolar mood disorder, mental illness. Call it what you want, but the South African Depression and Anxiety Group says that at least 20% of South Africans will have at least one depressive episode in their lifetime. And women are twice as likely to get depression than men. The more we learn about depression, the more we realize how little we know. We know it's a chemical disease related to the neurotransmitters in your brain, but there's a lot of more complex causes. Faulty mood regulation in our brain, genetic vulnerability, stressful events, medication, and other medical causes. Even the principle of childhood depression was a very, very controversial topic until really, really recently. The thinking being that pre-adolescent children have immature personality structures, so they couldn't get depressed. But I beg to differ. 60 to 70% of people will actually respond to meds, and sometimes with horrible, horrible side effects. And even the last resort treatment of electroconvulsive therapy doesn't have a 100% success rate. I've been blessed to have a wonderful, exciting career. I have done e-wallet, as you guys know, which now sends $110 million to people every month without bank accounts. I was part of the team that brought cell phone banking. I was part of the team that brought cell phone banking to South Africa, and I've rolled it out to 5 African countries. I've worked in amazing places like India and Nigeria and Tanzania, Kenya, Southern Africa. I was voted one of the Mail and Guardian 200 young people to have lunch with. I've been on TV, media, radio, print, and I suffer from depression. Bipolar type 2, as it turns out. Blogger Kate Lucy has this wonderful expression that she uses for depression. She says it's like a big, sad, despairing snowflake. No two versions are the same. And that's unfortunately the truth. My episodes are characterized by anxiety, agitation, and short temper, swinging to moods of incredibly deep sadness. Others can't get out of bed, not even being able to lift a finger, never mind functioning successfully at work. 2 months ago, I walked into our office, and in our foyer, we have one of those really big big electronic billboards. You know, we use it to communicate events and news to our staff. And they were talking about Mental Health Awareness Month, and how they understood that there's a lot of depression and that they are there to help. On it was a confidential number to dial, available anytime, in confidence and in secret. It is wonderful that companies are offering services like this because they do care, and they offer these in confidentiality and in secret. But all I can read into those messages was, if you're struggling, here's a number to dial, make it their problem, not ours. Keep it a secret. And it's this veil of secrecy that we have to change. We have to lift the lid on depression in the workplace. 19% of people who have depression fear being discriminated against in the workplace. And 69% of those who actually disclose their illness to their managers find their managers to be negative or just indifferent. When I was sitting in that boardroom, my breath being squeezed out of me, all I could think about was, they cannot know. No one must know. So companies need to create a better and more accepting workplace for people who suffer from depression and mental illness. I have a couple of ideas, and here's 3 of them. Firstly, we need to remove the stigma. If one of your colleagues fall at work and break their ankle, we're going to run up to their side, we're going to pick them up, dial the ambulance, get them to hospital. But if someone collapses with a panic attack, we avert our eyes and we whisper in the corridors about that person who couldn't cope. We need to stop judging those with depression and mental illness because it's an illness. Like heart disease, like diabetes, it's a medical illness with medical causes. And it's an illness that deserves to be supported, not judged. So many people with depression live in silence and shame because that stigma is real. Why should anybody be treated differently because they are taking a mental health day? Why should my reputation be tainted because people know that I suffer from depression? It takes so much courage to speak up about depression in the workplace, and even greater bravery to ask for help. And the reality is, I haven't had the courage to do so myself. The second thing we can do is just have empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, to walk in their shoes. And by trying to understand, you can create an environment where people like me can be honest and authentic about who we are and how we feel. By getting to know your colleagues, you can be proactive around supporting them with depression. If somebody doesn't want to join the drinks on a Friday afternoon, respect it, don't judge it, and keep on inviting them. If somebody wants to sit in the corner with their earphones on or work from home, enable it. And some companies even have wellness rooms, places of quiet and solitude where we can just have a mental break before carrying on with our day. And the last thing you can do is just be there. Depression disconnects us from society. When we suffer from depression, we struggle with busyness and noise, and just dealing with people the whole day is incredibly exhausting. There's nothing more powerful than having an ally at work and somebody that I can connect with. Just having someone check in with me, ask if I'm okay, ask me to go to events even though they know I'm going to say no 98% of the time. Having an ally at work is priceless. So I've come full circle. Here I am telling employers and companies you need to be open, honest, and accepting with those suffering from depression in the workplace. But today I need more courage than ever before. Today is the first time that I've been able and had the courage to speak about my illness in public. A colleague once told me that he prefers the authentic me to the person that I think I need to be at work. And today is the day that I'm going to merge the authentic, sometimes depressed me with the professional me. Today is the day that I'm going to stand up and tell people like me that there's absolutely no shame in having an illness that you did not ask to have. It is okay to be kind to yourself. It is okay to take a mental health break. It is okay to find that one ally that you can talk to at work, because once you have the courage to tell one person, maybe you can tell the next, and have a team of people around you that can support you. It is okay to ask for help, be it medication, treatment, or just a friend. Because sometimes the first step is just knowing that something is wrong. Even myself, I would slide down that rabbit hole even before I've realized I've slipped back down into the darkness. And asking for help is so, so hard, and accepting it is even harder. It's taken me 20 years to accept that I have a mood disorder, to accept that dreaded bipolar word. But please, I beg of you, don't wait as long as I did. Because it treated me as a much nicer person than it depressed me. It helped me can go to work, be creative, be passionate about what I do, and be good at what I do, knowing that it's okay to not be okay. Thank you.